Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred, and in this episode I would like to play a little bit of my Demon Hunter in this season 13 together with my wife Cup as well as my friend Straight Dupe. And we started warming up with the Greater Rift 75, and after that we have done a Greater Rift 80 as well. So it's going to be a fun kind of like action-packed video, full of a lot of elite killing as well as just to, showcase to you how we are doing so far with the Demon Hunters. And my friend is playing a monk. My wife is also playing a Demon Hunter like myself. So we just started the season journey a little bit late. Because we've been to our holiday in Seoul, and also there has been other distraction as well. So, but then, since we have done the season 11 as well as season 12, so we were thinking, why not play the season 13 as well? And in fact, I wasn't that keen to play too much on the season 13, but my wife kind of made the decision for us and said, why not roll a Demon Hunter? Initially, I wanted Necromancer, as you guys know how much I love the Necromancer class. But, I said, why not? Because my Demon Hunter in my normal account is just, standard account is just level 60. That was long ago when Diablo 3 just came out. I thought maybe I'd just get to the chapter 4, get the pet, and call it a day. So that was the plan. Now, in this season 13, Demon Hunter has the Shadow Mantle, the set. So I thought, well, we'll see how it goes. Not really intend to spend too much time or effort playing or leveling a Demon Hunter because in all honesty, I thought Necromancer. After you play Necromancer, everything else seems a little bit not as exciting. So that was my initial thought. But suffice to say, I was very, very impressed by the Demon Hunter class. Couple of things is the sheer ability to clear mobs really fast. For bounty, very mobile. My build is a Shadow Mantle build, so I focus on Impel, which is like an assassination kind of gameplay. So I found that it's very fast to get to places. Very quick to kill things, and very fast also. I mean, quite tanky as well, to be honest, for the build that I have. So I am having tremendous fun with the Demon Hunter. In fact, way more than I thought it would be. And that's why, I've decided to play a little bit more. And the more I play the Demon Hunter, the more I find it really attractive. I'll talk a little bit about the build I have and also what I've learned so far with the Demon Hunter class. Now, my wife also plays Demon Hunter, as you will see, but her build is a little bit different. She played the turret build. Well, it's not turret, it's sentry build together with all the companions. So it is a 5 set items on Natalia and 3 set item on Marauder. So with the Ring of the Royal Grandeur, she managed to get the 3 set bonus from Natalia and 2 set bonus from Marauder. So that's pretty a big deal, pretty exciting as well, because her DPS actually is higher than me, but it's not at the burst damage like mine. So I think in some sense we complemented each other quite a fair bit. Hers is very good when the fight drag on a little bit because the turret is doing a lot of insane damage. The only downside is that the turret, the sentry, take a little bit longer to to spawn, because you need to lay them down with some sort of like cooldown beyond the second one. And also once you have laid down, you can't really lay that many down continuously. So that is the only downside to her build, but by all means that is a top build according to IC Vane's website, which we got our inspiration from this day when I play any Diablo game actually. As for me, initially I wanted to play the same build as my wife's. So a sentry build with all the companions and so on. So that was my intention, because I realized that in Diablo 3, where at least from what I've learned, if you are not playing the top build, your life is just not as pleasant when it comes to Diablo 3. You end up having a lot of added challenges, so on, that may or may not be fun. Some people like it hard. I just like it effective. So the initial kind of like intention was for me to switch over to the same build that my wife has, just like last season. We started off with a blasted hammer build for our Crusader. Then my wife went over to blasted shield. Eventually, I followed as well. So that was the plan. But then I'm having insane amount of fun with Demon Hunter for Impel build, which is the one I'm having. It is very uncomplicated, straightforward, very satisfying when it comes to kill time, especially when you do bounty. It's just the overall excitement of it. So now, what does that do? Probably I'd like to spend some time talking about the build that I have, or the gameplay I have for the Demon Hunter build. The main spender is, or the main power, or the main skill that I use is the Impel. So what it does is that it does an insane amount of damage to one target. Now by default, Impel just one target, but with the Ricochet kind of rune to it, you can bounce it off, I think 3 targets, lightning. And then with the with one of the Quiver, which is the offhand item, I can get 3 Impel instead of 1. So when the 3 of them ricochet, it kind of give a nice clear speed as well. And that's the fantastic thing I like about it. Kind of remind me of Path of Exile as well, because you do dams in Path of Exile to achieve a similar kind of like a result when you want to hit instead of spawning one projectile, you can have multiple projectile and ricochet or whatnot. So in some way it's like Path of Exile, and I kind of like the Impel kind of thing because it's very effective. There's also something called the Vengeance. Now Vengeance is the one that bound to my left mouse button, a little bit unusual, because normally you want your main power to be on the left mouse button. The reason why I bound the Impel to the right mouse button is because I realized I don't really I have to aim to do it, so it's not like I could just blindly hold the trigger and do it anyway. And I found that it's a lot easier to trigger the Vengeance through the left mouse button for whatever reason, because I can't think of any other thing to do with my left or right mouse button besides Impel and Vengeance. So now what Vengeance does is that it layer on top of your existing kind of like damage from the Impel, have some kind of extra kind of missile or whatnot. But more so, I have a rune called Dark Heart that would give me 50% damage reduction, I think, when I pop Vengeance, which I pop a lot, because together with some of the gear, as well as the cooldown reduction that I have, I can really pop the Vengeance quite a fair bit. So that's really good. And it's just part of what the build does. Just pop Vengeance when I can, then just layer that one up. 50%, I think 50% reduction, damage reduction. But the whole Demon Hunter has a lot of utility to help as well. So another layer of utility is the I think it's called the Fan of Knife. I think it's the 4th button I have. It kind of does an AOE around it, but I don't really use it for AOE layer that much, but rather to pop a shield, because I can actually pop a shield, which I think I would pop somewhere now. You can see a shield around me that give me extra damage reduction as well. So that's the second kind of defense I have. The third defense is that whenever I use Vow, I have an elusive ring, which I have Cupid, and also I think that would give me some kind of damage reduction in some sense, or higher resistance. I can't quite remember, but there's some damage mitigation when I do Vault or Shadow Power. So I use Shadow Power a lot. Shadow Power itself also have, because I'm using the Shadow Mantle set gear, I get all the runes unlocked. So with the Shadow Power, I can have the utility like the health regen or slow target and so on. And so that is also yet another damage mitigation there. Then overall, the last thing is of course the Traveler Pledge as well as the Compass Roll, the Amulet and Ring, that I find it a little bit in a way a little bit not exciting, because I found that every build I have in endgame for Diablo, I have to use the Traveler Pledge as well as the Compass Rolls. Now what it does is that when you move, you receive lesser damage. When you stand still, you have more damage. So sometimes you see that my character move a lot. Right now I don't, because I know there's no need to, so that I can make use of the buff from the Traveler Pledge plus the Compass Rolls Ring to give me the added damage kind of output. But if I find there's a lot of like nonsense around me, like the electric stuff going on, or like the sisters will shoot a bullet, or there are just mobs around that you have to keep yourself in the move, then I would just just pop that. I'll just move around. So you see that I'm moving around, and I'm using the force move as well with the setup, because it's not as taxing as say the Crusader, because in Crusader I have to use the you have to keep walking and keep shift kind of like to spin the hammers around. So the good thing about this is that Demon Hunter is that I don't have to do that. I just move. I just use a force moving as and when I want to. But force moving is really about the just move the mouse over where you are, and and just press one button like a space bar. It just move to the actual place that it is. But in any case, so that is one thing. And just now you saw my friend's comment, by the way, saying that Impel build I should be upfront. Well, after that I replied to him that, well, in many cases I do walk to the front, but in cases whereby there's a lot of stuff on the ground, a lot of lightning and stuff like that, I will just use the shadow power to slow target. Why is it important? Because for my build and for my legendary gem, I have I think Bane of the Trapped. What it does is that when a target is slowed, I would deal extra damage, I think, and also as I move within the 10-yard kind of like a distance, automatically, they will receive the slow kind of debuff. And by the way, I was talking about the damage mitigation layer. One thing I forgot to mention is that I'm also using the Aquila Cuirass, chest item. What it does is that if my resource is above 90%, I would get the damage reduction of 50%. So it's rather insane, because I don't know how it adds up together, but I do have a lot of damage reduction. Right now the second last icon that keep blinking is when I have the 50% damage reduction, because I have full resource. So I think the full resource count on either way, either it is discipline or hatred. So it's kind of good. Demon Hunter has two resources, the red one called hatred, the blue one called discipline. So that's fantastic. A lot of things that pop around. And also another thing good about playing the Demon Hunter is that I get to just move around without paying too much attention to the hotbar, and I managed to observe the mobs around me, and I found that my character die a lot lesser if I pay attention to like where the motor ends, who is going to shoot me a bullet here and there, the Punisher is going to leap onto us, the bulls are going to charge onto us. All those you can really observe if you don't need to see the toolbar, which for Demon Hunter I hardly does. And the last thing that I use is the companion. Unlike my wife's Morider kind of like set bonus, I don't really have all. So I have the roof. If I remember, I'll trigger the roof to give a buff to all my team member around me. I think for 5 seconds to have a certain increase in the damage. So that's nice. Now I pop the Vengeance and I'm using Impel all the way, and I use my companion now to give the extra 5-second boost to the power. But that's about it. I pop the the other one, the Fans of Night, just in case it does anything strange onto me. It's just some extra mitigation since I can have it. There's no point getting defeated towards the end, because you get 4 times to roll the legendary gem rather than 3 times if should your character be defeated. And as you can see, all these clips so far, there's no defeat at all for my character. Sometimes I pop the awareness, which nowadays is yet another rather boring design, I would say, but it's quite a necessity. Is that you know, should there be a defeat, it wouldn't count as 1, but of course there's a cooldown power. So for Demon Hunter, it's called awareness. For Necromancer, it's called Final Service, and for Crusader, there was another one as well. I can't quite remember what the name is. So yeah, so that's one. And to final sign off on this whole season journey, we are almost there to get our stash. So it's just one more on the Guardians, I think, or 2, I can't remember. So we are heading towards the Guardians kind of path. Shouldn't be a big problem. The only thing I need to do is to make sure that I got 3 conquests. I've done the solo 75, that was rather easy, at least for my Demon Hunter, even when I first just gear up a little bit. And I've got the, no, hang on, the first one I've done is the solo a greater wave 45 without set item. Surprisingly, it was rather hard. I do not know why. Demon Hunter without a set item is rather weak. Unlike, say, the Crusader without a set item, I could easily do one like, you know, 45. I don't know why. My wife still couldn't do it. So that is my first conquest. I want to solo a 75. I've done it before, also 70, but I think 75 should be rather easy as well. So I'll get it done. That will be my second conquest. The third one will be the same as last year's one, last season, which is rather boring, which to just keep spawning bounty until there's a place whereby there's a cursed chest. There's a lot of you know, mobs I have to do, like 350 within I think in T10 or T11, I don't remember. So it's something I intend to do as my guardian. So I hope I'll get it sorted. So I think this is going to be my last run. So I'm just going to spend some time commentate on what I'm doing. And I definitely enjoy the Demon Hunter way better than my Crusader. Surprisingly, you know, I thought I would love the Crusader, but after the last season, both of us just don't like it. It was just too fragile. You know, I know that it's kind of nice if you can just go into a rift knowing that, you know, 90% of the time, 95% of the time you can survive without a death. I mean, that is really fun, I think, to me. For Crusader, for me, it's a lot of luck factor to it, whether I manage to trigger some cooldown at the right moment or not. So that is basically my pain of this whole thing. I think there's another clip, you know, I think I have another clip, last clip on that, and my gem is getting to 75. I think that is when I would stop, you know, leveling the gem. Well, I don't level the 3 gem. I'll level another gem, which is the Bane of the Powerful, Gem of the Powerful, sorry, for the augmentation of my my set item. Because I think for low level Rift, it's good to have Bane of the Powerful, but high level Rift, you probably don't need that. By the way, so this is the one that's Healthling, Nightmarish, Mortar. So just need to get close, and for my character, I'm okay to be at melee range. I'm using a Nemesis Bracer, so I could just spawn a lot of elite, very exciting. This is yet another motor with stuff on the ground that is not very pleasant. Yep, so we got it off quite nice as well. And I just observed that for our fight, I mean for our clips, a lot of action. There was a lot of time we are fighting elite, which is fantastic. So this is quite a number of them. Molten, Poison, Enchant, and Orbiter is also always quite a hard combo. I think there's yet another one up north there with the Frozen Pulse. Is also very like, you know, nasty if you are not aware of it. Aware of all the orbs and so on. Sometimes with the screen, you got a lot of stuff going on. Avenger is the one, I think, as one die, the other one get more like angry with you and so on. But we got them down at the same time. Health Link is fine. Fast and Jella Walla is not really something to to be worried about. The only thing that these boosts charge, so when they charge onto you, usually it's one shot, so you have to observe whether you need to stay away from where it points to you or not. So shield pylon, I always feel that shield is a little bit of like a cheat, but it's a good cheat because sometimes you just bored of doing the same thing again and again. Shield will allow you to just eat all the damage. You can stand on places whereby you wouldn't normally stood upon and just do it. So I have a lot of fun with some of this shield thing. So by right, if the team is kind of experienced, you should try to rush from one elite pad to another when you're shielded. But sometimes people don't do that, but whatever. So yeah, this is the Molten minion, not really that hard anyway because you just stay away from Molten. But as you can see, I mean, I'm shielded anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Shield is expiring in about 5 seconds or so. And I would just scream to my wife saying that, hey, shield off, and we remind each other of the thing we need to be aware of. This is quite hard because you have a lot of arcane kind of thing to it. Nightmarish, but it's alright. I stay a little bit further because there's no point going in and get beamed and die. This is the Plague Hawk. So Plague is just you need to watch out what's on the floor. By and large, it's not really that hard, but just make sure you don't stand too long on the Plague. I won't kill you instantaneously like some of the debuff like the Frozen Orb that will kill you really fast, but it's good not to stand there. Thunderstorm, I always find it a little bit annoying, because if it's thunderstorm onto you, you have to kind of remember moving off. And this is the last rift boss, and I hope you enjoy this series. Now I'll probably do more if I get a higher rift. I'm not quite sure about how high we'll go. I hope I can beat our previous kind of records, and that is like a progression somehow. Rift Guardian take a little bit longer, but it's a Greater Rift 80, something that I normally don't use don't do too much in other seasons. But in this season, man, it's so easy to go into the Greater Rift 80. I'm really extremely happy with the result so far. So all in all, fantastic, and I hope you enjoy whatever you're doing. And if you are in season 13, do feel free to just hit me with an invite or so. More than happy to play around with you, especially for higher risk, higher rift, and so on. All right, this is Friday, so happy Friday, and also have a good weekend, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.